Hello! Surprising I'm doing this again. Yeah. So, fun fact about me, my Reddit name is in fact Flat Leather. 3954. I picked a random name simply because I figured it would be a good idea. Every other YouTuber makes themselves anonymous in a few places. Honestly, now I don't see the point. Yeah, just saying that in case you're thinking someone stole my thing. So. Here is the Sailcar. I have made some changes to its design since I last made that post, and I will showcase basically everything. First, these have a dual purpose. They are called arrow lighters, but they also act as headlights. And these dispensers, you can put anything in these dispensers, but what I like to put in them is arrows. So essentially, this thing has dual arrow machine guns, which I think is really cool. I doubt it can't do any destruction like someone who's actually good at using trackworks would make. Like, there's no cannons on this thing, and I don't really know how to add cannons to vehicles. Now for other things. This whole thing is the system required, this massive contraption in the middle controls both the steering and acceleration and reversing of this behemoth. Looking in here, you'll see that I have made liberal use of chain drives. And actually, honestly, I'm just gonna quickly make more use of chain drives. Honestly, why not? It looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Now, so I'm using these chain drives in order to create. Can I actually control? No, I cannot. Yeah, I'm learning on the fly here. You can tell I'm not very experienced. So these chain drives. Okay, that fire's very distracting. These chain drives control. This set of chain drives down along this way control the wheels, the back and front wheels. These are what allow you to go. These are for going forwards and backwards. Then these wheels in the middle, these are for steering. Essentially, I have hooked them up to this So essentially these and this control forwards and backwards. This controls the steering. As you can tell, I did the steering first. In order to control this vehicle, you simply have to get into this seat, click on the linked controller in the left turn, and you can do this. As you can see, this vehicle has can steer in place and on the move. And it's pretty far, and it's actually a lot faster than you'd expect it to be, thanks to another unique design choice, this rotation speed controller. I currently have it set to 96 RPM. I don't know how high it can go yet, but I imagine it can go pretty damn high considering it's windmills. And essentially, this allows you to effectively change the gear of it. Obviously, this thing is slow as molasses, but is pretty damn slow. But it serves more as a combat. It serves more for defense and combat than defense, combat, and other. It isn't really designed for mobility. It's designed. Yeah. Honestly, though, again, this is like my second or third vehicle design. Now, one thing that has changed from my Reddit post is the position of the elevator. Yeah, it turns out the last spot I put the elevator prevented this wheel from working. Because I forgot about the shaft stair. SEDs, as you can probably tell, the shafts run, the axles for the cars run this way in that area. So by adding with the power of mechanical belts, I've created this elevator. It allows you to do this. It opens and shuts like so. Additionally, to actually use, and you can shut it from the outside. It cannot be shut from the outside too. To open it from the outside, you press this button. You could replace this with a lock block from supplementaries in order. I forgot to breathe. You could replace this with a lock block from supplementaries in order to make it so that only you and your teammates, 8 or trusted individuals, can get in. To actually get in, you can do this. It's essentially a hoik. Yeah, opening from the inside does not require any keys, because of the contraption controls. Now, these are the links. You can choose whatever items to put in these redstone links, but just make sure they're separate and they're the same as the inputs from the keypad. This is a pretty bog standard windmill. I could make this even smaller if I wanted to. In fact, I could literally just have one length into a 1x1 sail. I could shrink this down even smaller, or it would still work at the same speed. That's what the rotation control is for. Additionally, I have added barrels here for weapons, armor, and supplies. For weapons, armor, and food. So people can, and food supplies. You could add more barrels too. So yeah, this is my Also, turns out track work vehicles do block vanilla projectiles. I'm not sure if they interact with things like big cannons yet, and as I haven't tested that yet. But whether it does or doesn't, if it does, well, that's part of what these shingles are for. I am not sure. Of course, these shingles I put here so that you can be protected from arrow fire and like bullets. Arrow fire, and like typical conventional weapons. So of course, you're protected from all sides, except from above. I'll have to make a roof. In fact, I could do that now, and in fact, I can make it even. I can make it better than that. I can do better than that. I can make it. And I am going to do better than that. I am going to do this. Actually, I think this looks better. So, I'll add a roof, and then I'll end the video there after I make this roof. So yeah, a lot has changed in my life. I am making a video game. What it is will be, well, something I will tell you after it is, as I have finished. I have done more of the creation of it, like sprite work, making like at least one of the tracks, and programming.